Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this regularly scheduled meeting of the Vader City Council. It is Thursday, April 26th at 6:04 p.m. Roll call.
Donna Rogers. Here. Jason Daly.
Jason did contact us, and he is unable to attend.
Randy Hall.
Here.
Mike Parsons.
Mike is not here, and we have not heard from him.
Samantha Lovelady.
Here.
Mayor Schott.
Here. As we have a absence and we haven't heard from the person, council should probably have a motion and a vote to consider it unexcused unless we hear otherwise later.
I'll make a motion to make Mike Parsons' absence unexcused.
We have a motion by Ms. Lovelady for Mike Parsons' absence to be unexcused. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Ms. Rogers. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Nobody's talked to him about the first time being excused, have they?
I don't recall hearing a reason the last time. Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Lovelady, would you do the honors, please?
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mayor's report. Wastewater treatment plant update. The agreement between City of Vader and Roggins Incorporated has been signed and sent off to them. The notice to proceed is dated for April 26th. So that will be happening very soon. We are still waiting on the state budget funding information to find out about our extra funding on the capital budget. That legislative session ends on the 25th. Sunday it ends. And so that information should be coming out very soon to see if we get that extra funding with any luck. Not need any loan whatsoever for our wastewater plant. The only other update just this evening, excuse me, I got an email from Civil West. Roggins has already submitted a notice of a price increase. Apparently there was some deep freeze issue in the southern parts of the United States, and this weather issue has caused resin, like the glue prices, to increase from the vendor. The vendor sent them an email, and it's $30,000 additional for the resin. So anyway, we're going to be talking with them about that and about what we can do about it, because it seems a little extreme when they haven't even put a shovel on the ground yet to be raising prices. So we're going to work on that. So that's just a little update there. And that's about it at the moment on the wastewater plant. McMurphy Park, the gate was opened 2 weeks ago. Week ago, yep. And the ground down there is hard now. We've got some dry weather, so we don't have to worry about vehicles getting stuck. And the sheriff is actually doing patrols down there on a regular basis now. We were down there last weekend and they were driving through, so that's great. Our park board chair is here, and she can give more updates on parks here in a little bit. Urban design standards update. So if you remember, during our budget season this end of the year, we budgeted $4,000, I believe, to help update one of our 5 chapters for our urban design standards. We applied for a grant through the county for 09 funds, and it seems very likely we're going to get it. They had one suggested change, and that change has been submitted. And so there's a good chance we'll be able to get all 5 chapters updated at no cost to the city. And if that's the case, then we'll have that extra money that we did budget for some other use. More on that to come. The Shoreline Master Plan update. The Planning Committee is going to be holding the public hearing on May 20th. Council reports. Do any council members have anything to report? Donna?
I'm gonna give you guys a break this week.
How about the books? What about the books?
Oh, we have books.
I don't know, Diane was
We've
having.
sold 4 so far.
Really? Oh, good deal.
So, all right. So,
Do you
so
think we should get more printed? Yeah?
Yeah.
You want me to call her and?
Yeah,
how many did you print originally?
10.
10?
We had planned on 25, so I can do more, 15 more, or more than that, what? I don't know.
Yeah, well, with May Day ago, that'd be a good opportunity to have, a stack of them down there on a little table. And
Okay, 15, 20, 25?
20, 25? I would go higher because we'll sell them for sure.
Are we bidding here?
they don't. Well, they're not fresh fruit, right? They don't go bad if we have a
No,
lunch.
Right,
So,
exactly. So
Well, so you want to do 25, is that agreeable?
yeah, does that fit in the budget that we?
We allotted $500 and I think we spent like what?
200 and something.
Okay, so that should
Just
be
around
fine.
200.
Okay.
So 25 should
Okay,
maybe make it under there.
great. That's
Okay.
exciting.
All right.
that's awesome.
Any other council reports? Okay, moving on to agenda approval. We do have one last minute addition. In front of you is a document related to May Day special event conditions. So if we could have, I'd like to add item number 3. Council to consider the special event application for May Day. Any other additions that council would like? No? Could I get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of the special event application.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Lovelady to approve the agenda with the addition of the special event application for May Day. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Hall. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Minutes approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the council minutes for 4/8/2021.
We have a motion by Ms. Lovelady to approve the city council meeting minutes from 4/8/2021. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Hall. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Voucher approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the voucher approval end of April, $20,923.68. April 2021 total, $49,436.72.
I believe you said 430, or excuse me, I believe you said 49,936.
923 is correct.
I've got 935.17.
I got 49,436.72.
Yeah.
That's the end of the month.
Oh,
Yeah.
So the correct one is 29,23.68
Or the,
and 49,935.17. Are those the correct numbers?
yes, 49, 935, 17.
Okay, that is what I have on my agenda. Is that whatever?
49, how much?
49,935.17.
Okay, and then that's a 49,493.5?
49,935.17.
Yes, it was an addition of 2 checks since the original printing.
Okay, so that just didn't make it on this one. Huh? Okay.
Okay. So did we state the correct amount in the motion? I'm sorry.
It was 49,935.17.
We have a motion by Mr. Hall to approve the vouchers in the amount of 49,935.17. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Ms. Lovelady. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Sometimes there are more than, there's the first agenda that goes out and then a the last minute before there's a second agenda that goes out, and so some people have an older one and not the most fresh one. So, all right, moving on to special reports. Vader Park Board Chairman Kelly Shy is here. Please step up to the mic.
Okay.
That way it gets recorded
Okay.
more better.
Hi. So starting with McMurphy Park, as you have already heard, the gates are open. Cameras are up and running. We have had 2 loads of gravel put down, and a 3rd load is arriving on Tuesday. So that'll be nice and done. It'll be a nice fresh gravel drive walk and everything in there. And for McMurphy, Parks is we're in the process of organizing a chipping event for a few of the trails that are in McMurphy Park. So right now our tentative date for the actual chipping would be on Saturday, May 29th. And we have a gentleman who lives here in town who has a tree removal service, and he is willing to donate his time and chipper to the event. And then the idea is that we would go and collect, on the day of, people would be able to collect or drop off their trees, branches and things, and chip it, and we can spread them. We're hoping the week before that we can set up a couple days that people could call in and say, hey, we have stuff, but we can't get it there, and they have it up by the road for us, and it has to fit the size of the material and everything that we're allowed to take. And we would go to them and pick them up and take it to the park to get chipped that Saturday. We don't have the schedule yet. We don't have the confirmed times yet with the guy that is donating the time, and we're still working on a lot of the logistics of everything, but that's what we have underway right now. And we plan on advertising on the board, and flyers, the paper, and everything as well. So, and we may talk about also having an additional a donation, like people who bring everything in because we're chipping for them, if they end up wanting to do a monetary donation to it as well. And then that would go towards parks also, and then we might be able to, the gentleman is doing a really big service for free, and we thought that was really cool, but it'd be nice if we're able to maybe give him a little bit of something in some form, whether it's a lunch or a little bit of money or something, we're not sure yet, but that was kind of all ideas that were thrown around.
Kelly, could you identify the gentleman that's doing it?
I know his name is Caesar, and he's from New Life Tree Service, and he's only been living in town for 1 or 2 years now, him and his wife. So, sounds like they're a young family that just came into town. So, so that's McMurphy. And Warden Park, we had the Lions Easter event out there, and that was great. We had a wonderful turnout. Our Easter Bunny was probably going to be very popular and need to be backed by demand. There won't be a request. And we're with RCO. We're also getting closer to finding out more about RCO, the grant announcement. So the state's about to release hopefully the finalized budget on the 26th. And sometime after that, I believe the email that I received said sometime later in that week we should be hearing from our grant manager, letting us know what we might be getting as far as our contract is with what we've submitted in for our request. So,
isn't it true that the sneak peek that we've had on the inside suggests that we're probably a go? The money's there.
There's been a few unofficial, like you said, sneak peeks saying that it sounds like it's a pretty good likelihood that we'll be getting our full amount. No guarantees, but officially no guarantees yet. But yeah, that we're pretty good and set to go. And in regards to that too, we're also having a touch base with the playground equipment company meeting tomorrow on Zoom. So just to kind of review the equipment, how long it takes to order things, just nothing final at this point, just to remind them, yes, we're still here. Yes, this still happened. This is still happening, and you know, what we need to know once we find out we can go to just kind of be underway. How long does it take for it to get ordered? How long, you know, what our turnaround is for everything, and how they'll work with the contractors, with everything else, with the layout that we have going on down there. I think that's pretty much it. So, are there any questions?
The jail.
The jail is,
I've been working on that because it's kind of out of the park board's hands at the moment as far as the because it's contracts and things like that. And so I've been talking with the city engineer about what the city's going to require of the contractor as far as drawings for the foundation and any dry rot removal on the foundation. And so we're getting that plan put together right now. And then once we have that plan, what permits are going to be required, then we can start soliciting the official bids from contractors.
So in that, when they do that, the foundation, I'm concerned about that chimney coming down.
It's going to have to be on
Is that going to be part of it?
It's going to have to be on the conditions that, you know, that they'll have to provide the engineers. How are they going to stabilize this without the whole building chimney collapsing in and destroying the building,
'cause
right?
not-
So that's part of the deal.
Okay.
It's got to be a consideration.
And the floor, or right around it, inside there.
So, but yeah, we're going to have the city engineer look at it and review it, and so it's not going to be just somebody that's going to just come in and say, I can do it, and then have the whole building fall over. So,
Yeah. I
Yep.
would be at their funeral.
I believe it.
so were there any other questions regarding permits? No?
No,
Okay.
All right.
Just checking with everyone. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Planning committee, I thought Scott would be here online, but he's not right now. So I can't, Scott's not here to give an update. However,
He's asked me.
oh, Kathy. Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah, so the last meeting, we reviewed the ordinance number 2021-02, the rules for manufactured homes coming in. I think you guys are gonna discuss this tonight too. And there was only one person on the phone having any input about what they thought should be added to this, like maybe they should have a garage, the houses should be set lower so that they look more like a stick build, and maybe that, I don't know if you mentioned at your meeting one time about concrete steps having, but most of all, we all looked at this and thought they all looked pretty good, you know, as it is, so we didn't have a lot of. And the meeting before that was the shoreline, which I think you guys are gonna discuss too. Kind of hard when half the people are gone. So. But that was pretty much what was
That
talked about the manufactured home.
shoreline was presented by the Gary Cooper
Oh, that was, the shoreline of the,
Yeah, Gary.
presentation.
Yeah, Gary Cooper is driving that shoreline master plan update, and it is still grant funded, so it's not costing the city anything.
yeah, it sounds like it's not too bad because the Oakwa is the only water thing that they, and it's not really, you know, there's not a lot of land there, people put houses or docks or, you know, things like that, I think that we have to really worry about.
Mhm. Okay.
Any
Any questions for Kathy? All right. Thank you, Kathy.
Okay. I'm not good at this public speaking.
It's all right.
He asked me last night, can you go to this for me? He's got so much stuff going on.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to city business. Item number 1: council to discuss standards for manufactured homes. I I don't have anything new to add right now. We're working on some other projects right now. We haven't put a lot of effort into this, other than continuing to gather suggestions from people, from the planning committee, from citizens that have called in, and of course from council in the last couple of meetings. I wanted to give council an opportunity, if they've had any new thoughts, to things that they would like to be included in the standards. So that's all this is right now. So does council have any new ideas?
Well, I think
suggestions?
one of the things Scott discussed was the home has to be new, meaning title, first time title, not second time title by a dealer. I think other than that's fairly important. And that, I think Mr. Goff brought up, well, why can't we bring in a used one? But I think we're opening ourselves up to problems with that, so.
Okay.
That's how F Street got started.
I
Yeah,
would say I could agree with that. They need to
yeah,
be
so I think they need to be new, per title only once. That way we eliminate a lot of problems, potential problems.
right.
I think everybody agrees.
Yeah.
You don't want someone pulling in mobile from the 80s, which is
And that's, you know,
it could
having
easily happen.
the second person involved being
That
the
already
dealer.
happened.
Yeah,
And
well, but I mean, happened in a grander scale once we have all these sewer hookups available.
Right.
And it makes sense to be. It makes sense to be a requirement. I mean,
Right.
when you build a new home here, a stick-built home, you build it to today's standards.
Right.
You don't build it to 1980 standards.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what you'd have if you were bringing in an old home from the 80s, for instance. You'd be putting in a new home, but it would be to the old standards. And
Right.
we'd rather not have that.
came
And I
up
know a
about-
lot of cities have similar ordinances like that. 'Cause
Mhm.
my mother-in-law's a realtor, so
The dealer might have that new home on his lot for a couple of years versus being new, but it hadn't been titled, so the title requirement really specifies being new.
Yeah, and then along those lines, I was talking with our deputy clerk, Stephanie Felton, today, and she's working on the final updates to the fee schedule that'll eventually come to council. And one of the things the city doesn't require is, when a manufactured home is originally made and it's on the road, it's considered a vehicle. It has
Right.
it has a title, I guess, and all that. And what a city can do is, once it's here, we can have the title. We can require that the title be removed. That way, the house is not a vehicle anymore, and then it can't just be wheeled away at some point. And so, any old home would then have to be demolished instead of being wheeled away someplace
Well,
else.
And I
So-
went through that with the refinance of my home, because I had owned the home and the land separately. So in order to refinance it to a mortgage company, you're required to do that anyway. And that's what Scott was bringing up in the last planning committee, was that in order to have it financed, it has to be done that way. You can't keep the vehicle title.
Right, it can't be a vehicle and have a mortgage on it.
Exactly.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's already a done deal.
So,
My thing about the standards is requiring, rather than just setting down a square box and walking away, is at least a gravel driveway, a carport or garage, whatever. I don't know how everybody feels about that. Some people are trying to get in for cheap and get away. And at least a little porch covered for at least the front door, and they've got to have a little one for the back.
and I've taken, we've mentioned those before, and I have those in the notes. I've made sure that we've
Right.
recorded those and that they're in our wish list.
Yeah,
So-
those are minimum for me
Okay.
that I would like to see happen,
Okay.
because of those two that, well, he set 3 of them in here like that. They're just those gray square boxes, and that one lady on F Street didn't even get a driveway, and she had those cheap steps that are at the manufacturer's places to get in. That's what she was like.
Like made out of like the old pallets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's not good.
Okay. Any other ideas that you've all been able to come up with over in the last couple of weeks, or?
That was all I was
Okay.
requiring, because I think everything else I've read and all the RCWs and everything, they meet all the standards Randy was talking about. Those are already in there. That's federal, some of it, and some of it's state. So,
Okay, great. Well, I'll make sure to add that. Make sure the new homes only is either in what we have now or it gets added. Okay, if there's no other discussion on this, council to discuss infrastructure priorities. So, couple different things. There's a couple different grants coming up that are available. One of them is a $1 billion United States transportation infrastructure plan. Not just not infrastructure, transportation. And the deadline's in July to apply for money. And they've got it broken down by no one state can get more than $100 million. Rural and urban, it'll be broken down half and half. So big cities or big states won't be able to just suck up all the money. And so there's a good chance that if we applied, we could get some of that. And of course, as far as transportation, Vader only has. We just have roads. We don't own our own railways or bus systems or light rail or anything like that. And so, as always, I imagine applying for fixing the roads we have is an important thing to do. But if there's some big money out there, this could be a good opportunity to build roads in our right-of-ways that do not yet have roads. And so that's what the maps I handed out at the beginning of the meeting illustrate. Building a few new roads could open up quite a few lots that are currently not accessible by roads. And City Hall's even been approached by residents that own property in town that would like roads close to their lots that they own that don't have roads. So the two areas that I was suggesting was on the north side of town, G Street and E Street. Of course, G Street, right after coming down the hill, is gravel that goes back quite a ways, but only about halfway is gravel. After that, there's no street there at all, even though we have right of way. So the suggestion would be to complete G Street, and then add in the 5th and 6th streets that would run across to E Street, which is also gravel on just the top half of it. So we would get kind of a twofer there. We would make G and E from gravel to pavement, and then also add the 5th and 6th streets connectors, and then make quite a few lots then accessible, and then hopefully, once again, have more residential development in those areas.
What about East Street to Park?
And then that is the other map that you have there.
Okay.
I have this zoomed in one. On the right hand side of that is the E Street on the south side of town here, E Street and Park Street.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, the whole bottom of E Street from 10th South is all gravel, so we could get that paved.
That would be nice.
Also the Park Street on the south side, get that paved. And a lot of people don't realize that we have right of way from the end of Park, looping all the way back around
To 10th Street.
to 10th Street.
Yeah, no, that's been there. I knew that
Yeah,
for a long time.
yeah, and so it's there, and so there's a lot of property over there that isn't accessible.
Yeah.
Well, that's mostly Mike's property over there, so is he looking to sell on those lots? And
I don't know.
that's, I mean, this is the only advantage is Mike's going to get it. What's
I don't
new?
know. Well, but there's other stuff on the south side of that that's.
I was thinking the Park Street.
I honestly I don't care who owns it. I just want to make property accessible and further development. So in any case, so this was a suggestion. Obviously, all I was kind of looking for from the council was, yeah, go ahead, apply for money and see what happens. I just didn't want to do that and then, have a miracle happen and we actually get it and then say, hi, council, we have money to build roads.
Just from a personal
Surprise!
standpoint, I would like to see that East Street to Park because of all the dust.
Yeah, and there's a lot of reasons to pave some of the gravel streets that are heavily used.
Right.
Obviously, we've got a lot of right of way that are gravel that just kind of are 50 feet at dead ends, and there's a house back there. Right, it's basically their driveway, even though it's a city street. If we could get it paved for free, that'd be fine. But, expending city resources on that one, a little bit of gravel is fine. Is fine. But, E Street definitely is a long, long street to be gravel. So anyway, that was a suggestion. I was just looking for a nod from council. That sounds like a reasonable thing to try for.
I say go for it. I like the idea.
So I still have a question about Park Street.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't see an advantage of taking Park Street all the way around Mike's property back to 10th.
So there are a couple of ideas.
There's access off F
Yeah, a couple of ideas I
every
had.
lot.
One, it wouldn't be a dead end anymore. Park Street wouldn't be a very long dead end. Two, if we do look at removing that lift station, kind of a tag-along project, if we put a street through that section, we could run the sewer from the bottom of the cul-de-sac down to Park Street along the
Will
the
that
new
go
road.
through that swale? Is that what you're saying?
There would be engineering involved to make that
So you
happen.
still have to remove the swale or fill it in?
Or some
something?
type of connection. I'm sure there's a way to engineer that. So anyway, it could extending the utilities along that as well would be useful.
Okay, so
And
what
then-
about
and then-
F Street between 8th and 9th? Those little roads, those people live like that for years.
F between 8th and 9th. So yeah, on the other map, I have different segments around town. I have those pink. I don't know if you can see them. They're kind of
Yeah.
They're not tight, huh?
they didn't print. But you can see that there's.
Because those poor people have lived with those.
Yeah,
those
I have
things will
those.
swallow
I do have
apart.
those sections circled here.
Okay.
Those would be high priority streets to get fixed because they are bashed up so bad.
And John told me the other day that G Street is actually private between 8th and 9th.
Correct. Yeah, that was vacated in 33. Is that the map that I saw recently?
Really?
1933.
You're talking about the north part.
Yeah, up this way.
No, on the south part between 8th and 9th.
Yeah, there's a lot of potholes there.
It's those little short streets that are probably about a block long.
Yeah.
And they're-
So here, this right here,
Yeah, F and G, I think is.
this is vacated on the top and on the side.
Yeah. You don't want to drive on that street. It's full
No,
of
G.
holes.
This right here though,
G-
it's marked out, but it's not vacated anymore.
That's F Street.
I thought that's the one that
G,
was.
right there.
Yeah, G is vacated.
So
Up
F-
here, this,
Okay.
20 feet of this on the east side is vacated.
Yeah, the G Street on north side of town is narrower. Back in the, when was that, 90s? I think it was in the 90s. Property owner petitioned to have 20 feet of our right-of-way be vacated, which it was, so it made G Street much narrower than it would have normally been. On the north side of town. On the south side, that short stretch between 8th and 9th, it is vacated.
Yeah, because that's that little deal that got lost in God knows where. It's floating around out there because Ken sold them, made them buy that.
You can see,
And there's no title to any of that property and it was never
you
registered.
can see that on the county map right here. I don't know, it's really, really small. But if you can see the parcels right there, the parcel lines are all touching. There's no right-of-way in between there. There's no, G Street doesn't exist.
Between where and where?
8th and 9th.
Oh, okay. Oh, really? I had no idea.
Yeah, G Street between 8th and 9th, and of course everyone knows F Street between Park and 10th is also vacated. So we can't expend city funds to fix the roads, those two roads.
Well, F Street's vacated between Park and, I don't know if it's okay.
Park and
Yeah,
10th.
because it's private. It
Yep.
was private, okay. Because
Yep.
that was a
And that was
cow
vacated.
pasture when I moved there.
And that was vacated in the 90s, yes.
Okay, because there was a kerfuffle years ago, I guess. They were trying to give F Street to the city, and the city wouldn't take it. And then they would, and then they didn't. It's one of those Vader things.
So how would you
wanted to
permit
sell
a car
you.
to 10th? Go behind Mike's property?
Yeah, it's right there on that, on the map there. Turn it counterclockwise, the one on your right hand.
So
No,
this
the other
is Mike's
counterclockwise.
property, and that's what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. So we'll go behind it.
Yeah, we have
Wrap
right,
around.
we have right of way there
Wow.
through the trees.
Between Alpine.
That is a street.
So,
One of them is Park Street, and it's Park Street west and one east or something like that. But there's 3 different Park Streets there.
So,
It's
It
the
really is
one
right
up
here.
on Park Street and then it's going up and over.
No one would complain about that, I don't think.
And part of that belongs to the county out here.
yeah, the county line is just on the other side of our right of way.
Connects it back down to.
So anyway, that was the general idea. Obviously,
This is what we're talking about
But
right
it would go
here.
like straight across and then follow this curve and then it comes back down the planet.
obviously fix the roads we have. If the money's there for that, apply for that apply for that. But, you know, if we're interested in opening up some
It's actually a road, technically.
larger swaths of the city with new roads. Anyway, I was just wondering if council would be approve of
We can get
that.
the money, that would be great,
Yeah.
yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
This is a win-win.
So,
Yeah, I just want to make sure that, like, what is it, G Street? Lois lives on G Street? Is that what it is?
Yes.
G, yeah. That road needs it, and 6th and 5th. I
Right.
don't know about 5th. I don't know how much property is back there that can be accessed off of 5th without going through wetlands. I'm not real clear on that.
yeah,
I
you can
wasn't-
see here, this is where the wetland is right back there on what would be the new Fifth.
5th Street. Yeah.
So,
If there's property there that's accessible and able to be built on, I would make sure that we could before we wasted that money on 5th Street.
it's not our money to waste.
It is our money to waste. It's
If we
taxpayer
get it.
dollars. That's
Yeah.
our money. This is
Okay.
not free money.
Okay.
Yeah,
On
we have to do a
a,
bunch of surveys though to make sure you can go through that wetland.
on a side note, I do hear that the county, who owns our water system right now, is looking at pushing water lines through those areas already, to be,
Proactive.
be proactive for development. So they're already looking at putting utilities
Really?
back there. Yep.
Oh, okay.
And they're anticipating there being a lot of growth with everything that's been happening in neighboring towns.
Oh yeah, this place is going crazy.
Yeah.
It's just-
And so they're trying to be on the ball about it too. So, any other thoughts by council? You know, I mean, obviously I've talked about the lift station removal. That's a good infrastructure project. Fixing roads and maybe some new roads is another infrastructure project. Anything else?
The lights, how are we doing on the lights?
How are we doing on the lights?
I know we were talking about putting a light on East Street.
Mm-hmm.
What about other lights? I'm not sure. I'm
Switching
I'm
to
just throwing
the-
it out there, I'm not sure if we need it.
Are you talking about switching to the
LEDs.
LEDs? Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that? And that costs us? You say $100 a pole? Is that what it?
I don't know what it would cost if we asked them to do it. They're doing it slowly over time already. So eventually all the lights will be LED as they burn out.
PUD.
Yeah, PUD is doing it. PUD
Well, the
owns
reason I'm
them.
asking is because we approved to have that light put on E Street
Mhm.
over by Vicky's place, and it said in there $100. So, is that there's an existing pole there, isn't there?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so this is just for the light bulb.
Yeah, it's for them to
Yeah.
to run the power into it, it
Right.
sounds like.
Okay.
So,
All right.
To wire the pole.
yeah, wire pole light
Yeah. So
managing.
definitely you have the lights. What other kinds of things have anyone thought of? I mean, anything that we haven't thought of? I
Well,
mean,
lights is definitely a good one because there is a lot of dark areas, and especially if you're putting in new streets, you're going to want to make sure there's lighting down there.
okay.
There is one starting to go out. That's sporadic by the New York lady's house, right down the road from you.
Yeah.
It comes on, goes off. I don't know if you noticed.
The one that's over by us on the corner of E
Yeah.
and 9. Yeah, that one dims a lot, I've noticed recently.
So I come home from work at 2 in the morning and I see it come off on.
Yeah.
All right. Any other big ideas? Kathy might have a big
How
idea.
expensive is it to put like road signs, like when you were talking about G G Street between 8th and 9th, there's only a stop sign there and a dirt road, and you don't even know what street it is.
Diane, do you want to address the street signs, please?
Yes. John and I are working on a project right now, and we're asking for volunteers to help. We want to inventory all the signs in Vader, all the street signs, stop signs, dead-end signs, everything, so that we know what we actually have, and also grade them. Are they in good shape? Do they need to be replaced? Do we need to add a sign? And this would be part of that. So, yes, we are conscious of that. So that's good input to let us know where
Yeah,
we
I
feel
know
like we
people
need
that
that.
have lived here quite a while just kind of know, but somebody new, like listen to you guys talk about this street, and there's no sign when we go for our walks, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Well, I know one was destroyed by, across the highway by Ken's house. That sign had been destroyed, I saw it broke,
Which,
oh,
which
D Street,
yeah.
D Street by,
The church.
Ken's house,
Kenny on the corner that uses on the park board, that street sign.
Someone- yeah, it was
down south,
broke.
The D Street.
we saw
And
pieces
then
of it.
And,
Oh, okay.
On D and 506? Is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah, there's a
Someone-
stop sign and then the street sign. is D
Someone
Street.
destroyed that, I don't know if it was kids or
Maybe some plow into
vandal
it.
or someone hit it.
And also, a lot of the signs that we had were installed, they are wood.
Yeah,
So they
this one was
just
wood.
disintegrated.
Right.
Maybe
So
that's all it did. It might have just-
I'm hoping that when we get the new ones, we will get, the metal that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
painted.
I would
Yeah, it
like
was
to see
wood.
D Street between 9th and probably 11th.
11.
That's where the boys live. They're my boys. Dave and Ivan.
There's an 11th Street back there?
Yeah, there
'Cause D-
used to actually go to 13th.
Okay, because D goes.
Those are all vacated.
Oh, okay. I'm like. Saying that.
Testing
I'm like,
Like, where did that road go to?
I've counted to 10. I've never counted to 11. Okay. All right.
If there was, they did have an 11th, 12th, and I think 13th at one time, way back in the old papers that in there. But anyway, that road is pretty bad between 9th and down, all the way to the end of it down there.
Yeah, that's circled on here right here.
And then I don't know if this is kind of along the same lines, but dropping the speed limit in front of those parks to like 20, even lower, wouldn't be a bad idea.
Okay.
Because people haul down our street, and I'm waiting for a kid to get hit. I'm waiting for a kid to be running out to get
Hold
a
down all the
Yeah.
streets.
basketball.
And
Yeah.
and the council over the years has actually talked about putting speed bumps down by Warden before,
Yeah.
and we kicked that around for a while, and there were some issues with doing it, so it never
Right.
happened.
Just as a parent, I'm waiting to watch a child get hit on
Well, what were the issues?
that. People are just speeding right now. It's insane.
No,
yeah.
that's always an issue
right.
for me. I'm talking about what are the issues about
So
the speed bump?
it was moving the speed, dropping the speed limit wouldn't, it'd just be a matter of the
That's
city
just a
council,
sign.
Yeah.
city council,
That's
saying
why
that we want to do it.
Get some more tickets.
With the speed bumps, it was a long time ago. I have to go back and look at my notes, but there were issues with choosing the right one to be, with how it would get mounted. There's ones that just glue down. There's ones that bolt into the road, and anyway, it was.
To me, it's public safety.
I think Tracy Durham was here, and he was thinking that because he was talking about it in front of the church there,
Yeah.
and he thought that they would just use it to
Oh,
as a ramp. Yeah, so.
How hard it is to choose a speed bump.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Well,
This is-
like choose a speed bump so an 8-year-old doesn't get hit, because it's gonna happen. I'm gonna say that on record. It will happen and
Yeah.
happen soon, because they're hauling down that street.
Well,
I'm the
yeah,
first one to go outside and yell at people because my house is right there. Do not speed in that area. You're going to hurt someone.
we see the same problem going down 10th.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Well, we did notice the sheriff nailed somebody going down between E and F. They caught somebody the other day, so that's good.
Oh, that's nice, yeah.
Okay.
There's some guy the other day that went by there, he must have been doing 60 when he hit my house from
Yeah.
Alpine
Yeah.
Court. I mean,
Great
he
humor.
just,
And you'd be surprised they can do it going down my
Yeah,
street.
no,
It's like-
the guy lives off of Alpine.
yeah,
I've actually turned his information in.
yeah.
So
these-
they've been watching for him. I don't know if that's the guy they nailed a couple of days ago or not. I'm not sure who they got.
Is that the guy in the blue car?
No, he's in a Beamer. He lives with his dad off of Alpine.
Because
And
I know there's a guy in a blue
I
car.
actually went to his house and
Whips
spoke
the
to his
camera.
dad about him. And I also turned him into the sheriff's office, so they're trying, catching him with one.
Well,
What's
this
the
guy-
matter?
I mean,
Right
he
time,
actually- This guy actually touches air going over the tracks.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
And he hits one Lock Vader Road, and I can hear him speeding
Just
down the
cutting
road,
over.
going past my house.
So one of the ways council in the past dealt with areas where people could get up to speed was at a stop sign. So at the intersection on D Street over there by the school, D and 8th did not used to have a stop sign. It was you could drive straight through from 9th all the way to 506.
Yeah.
And so we put a stop sign there in recent years so that people would have to stop and so they couldn't get going too fast through there. And so I know so you're talking about over on 9th Street, people getting up to speed along 9th Street. At least one citizen who's sitting right in front of me has made a request that maybe a stop sign should be put at the intersection of E and 9th. To break up that long stretch so that people would have to stop. And it would be a four-way at that point.
yeah.
And
Yeah, they
then,
got a ways to go to get speed up.
Yeah.
and so anyway, so it turned into a four-way. It would behoove them to at least slow down before you slide through there.
But you
Well, I
say
know on
that,
10th
and I have
and
stop
E,
signs.
once they hit that corner and go towards Donna's house, they gun it.
Yeah,
On
You
10th?
must- Yeah. I'm sure you've seen it. And they just recently nailed somebody there. I'm not sure who.
yeah. They go between both streets.
They
Up
race
and
by
go-
your house, don't they?
Pardon?
Don't they kind of race by your house?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I hear them.
Well,
So
what's
And then-
that? Off of Alpine,
Yeah,
the
it's-
people off of Alpine are the guilty ones. I've actually followed them to see who it
Really?
was.
Yeah, I usually, if I do see them, I have to be standing up or something at my window because I can't see anybody from where I'm sitting in the house.
Yeah.
So I can see the top of the car go by a street, or I can see kind
Once
of
it-
far.
This one kid living with his dad off of Alpine. I turned him in.
Yeah.
anything that we can do to make people stop speeding in town.
So stop signs are a great way to do that, to break up the long stretches.
Stop signs.
I mean, we could put up speed limit signs, but
Yeah, but
Well,
I
10th,
think it would be helpful.
10th is narrow, and 10th, being narrow kind of slows them down. But maybe speed bumps would help.
I know from living in other cities in the past that bumps help because no one wants to mess up their car.
Well-
Let's be honest.
What is
I don't
the
have a problem now,
is
so I'm
there a
gonna go
safety
slow.
issue with the speed bumps?
There shouldn't be, no, I mean. if
There's different
somebody's
ones you
going
can
really
get.
way
You
too
can get the
fast,
slow
then it's an
slope
issue, but
concrete
it
one.
remains self-correcting.
okay. All right. Well, as far as that's concerned, we'll research speed bumps a little bit, see if there's the right kind or the wrong kind, or if our insurance company says
Or even like
anything.
lighting crosswalks, so they have to wait by the parks. So they kind of blink
Okay.
when kids go
Especially
across.
those
Yeah, that's what I mean. If
intersections
you
right
lit them
there.
up, like how Longview has, kind of by the lake,
Yeah.
so they blink when kids are walking.
They just
around.
installed one over in front of Toledo Elementary too. The flat, it's like bright
Yeah.
flashing lights, and it was like, wow, that's cool that they got one. So finally.
Yeah, but we tried to check to get the school thing, and that's a lot of money, and DOT
Yeah,
doesn't
it
want to
is.
do it.
Yeah.
Right. But I was just thinking if it's transportation funds that we could potentially get, if we could throw some lights on.
Speed bumps would be
someday.
a lot cheaper.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But
And
if
I
no one
just-
wants speed bumps, we could do lights.
All right.
The speed limit, let's ask the officer back here. Isn't, if the signs aren't posted in town, speed limit signs, then the limit is 25 miles an hour, isn't it, in a residential area?
Right, unposted. So,
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
mixed use for, at least for our houses.
So that's 25. And actually, when you're going in these little streets, even that to me is too
It's
fast.
way too fast.
I'm usually
25.
15 or 20.
25 seems pretty quick.
Yeah.
And technically in front of the preschool, since we have a school presence again, the speed limit should be dropped down to 20
20,
through
right,
there
yeah.
anyways, and there isn't anything posted there as well saying speed limit 20, or 20, you know, slow for children.
Mhm.
So that, and I think, honestly, I really kind of felt, we were talking about this at Parks last night, that a couple of 25-mile-an-hour signs up just as a reminder for
Mhm.
some people. Yeah, it doesn't actually physically stop them.
But you're
from
aware of
doing
it, you drive
But
past
now
it.
you have no, you really have no excuse, at least when you turn onto them, you know, reminder residential 25, even though it's supposed to be default, they don't do it. So.
Any other big project ideas, like big infrastructure things, wish list things? If someone threw us a unlimited bucket of money,
Unlimited bucket of money, community center.
Absolutely.
That would be nice.
So, no, I agree.
We lost the Lions Club.
Mhm.
You can all kiss Ken for that because the Lions Club offered to give that building to the city and Ken wouldn't take it.
A real community center so kids
Yeah.
could do stuff. so
Yeah.
Elderly could go do stuff in their art classes. That would be amazing.
okay. Kathy.
The little school, who owns that property behind it that's just like a field fenced in?
That
I mean,
belongs to the
schools.
people that live at the top of the hill, and that is a, way back, I don't know, 1800s, 1900s. The condition for us having a school there, it has to be a school on the property or it reverts back to that family.
Huh.
So-
It's
That's why
sitting
Castle
there.
Rock come down here. It finally dawned on me why they were so happy to put that little school there.
But don't we pay the school taxes because our kids go to Castle Rock?
Yeah.
So can't we let, it's just a waste sitting there. We could put,
It belongs to
Baseball?
it belongs to those people. Where the fence line runs behind the school way back in there, that used to be the baseball field and everything. But that property in between there and the top of that hill where that first house comes to,
Mhm.
that's their family's property. And that, I get what you call it, a covenant or something. The city can have that property that the school sits on as long as there is a school there. And so I finally discovered why Castle Rock was so wonderful and wanted to come down and put that little preschool in for us down there because they were about to lose the property because there was no school there.
it's just sitting there, it could be anything.
The preschool was only added fairly recently in the last
Yeah.
couple of years, and then the previous school district superintendent, he actually was coming down here quite a lot, and he was really petitioning to get a lot of Vader residents on a group for the property, and the new one, just before COVID, they were having everything, they were doing something similar. They need more representatives from in town. They don't, whether or not you have children in there, you know, they really would like to have a voice on that board to help out with it. So, it's been something that they had been like really just pushing for.
It just seems like a waste. Could be
Right.
ball fields, soccer fields.
Something.
Education center, that was something they were talking about after we put the building on, was that they were gonna put an education center on there. So you could have, again, kind of a community center type thing, anywhere from youth to adult learning. And satellite classes was something that they had talked about. I don't know where it's at anymore, though. I haven't heard anything for a couple of years.
Every time I see it, it's just the perfect spot, it's level, it's fenced.
Well, I heard when they closed the school and they tore that one down, that we would not be able to have another school here because the state now requires more property for its schools.
Oh.
I don't know how this one got put in, and I don't know if any of that has changed.
It was built in like 1900.
Oh, yeah, we got,
Something.
yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
so I don't know what the deal is.
Well, we had some good ideas. If you think of anything else, big stuff, let us know, and that way when we see grants come available, we can try to do something about it.
We should be, I don't know, I think a community center is really
I love
a
that
neat
idea.
thing to have for, because I was hoping someday, well, at one time they thought about the Lions Club. Well, it used to be the community center. I mean, everybody, we always had events there and everything.
Yeah, a place
And
you
when
could
we
go
lost
hold
the
things,
school,
like
that was the
indoor
greatest thing. I was heartbroken over that because you used to go there every year for the Christmas bazaars and everything, and you could go into the school and they had auctions and everything. That was huge for this town. It really was.
It would bring a lot of people together. I love that idea.
Yeah, they killed this town when they took that school.
We're not dead.
We still got some time, huh?
Well, who owns that
We're on the
building?
upswing.
I don't know if it was the Masonic Temple.
Oh, the Mason Lawn.
Yeah. it's
Didn't they just sell that?
I don't know.
Yeah, they just sold it.
That's another thing that's just sitting there that you.
2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago it sold?
They're gonna build on it.
I feel like I just saw something.
Tear it down and build.
Okay. Well, council's okay with it. I'd like to move on to city business item number 3 that we added, the special event application and conditions of approval. This is, of course, related to May Day. Council did already approve the insurance money, but this is just to basically this is the application, and moreover, it approves. For instance, the waiving of the special event fee that the city might normally charge and things like that. So. Anybody? Get a chance to take a look at it. I know if you need more time to read it.
But I still don't know why we aren't making a resolution to do this every year. So we don't have to go through this every year. Just give them the money.
Right.
Well, maybe a different council in another year might change their mind.
What is the problem though? I want to know what the problem is, because it seems very easy to me to do a resolution so they can do this every year and make it,
You just have it set and done.
yeah. So
So
what is the problem?
It's the way it's the way it's been done, and we just take the application from previous years and slap a new date on it.
Okay,
And
I'm
away
not
we go.
buying that is the way it's been done. There's too much stuff
Well,
you guys do.
in more recent times, I mean,
So what's the problem?
just no problem. We just haven't done it.
Then why don't we do it?
Well, right now would be a
Next
time.
Saturday,
limit.
we need to get this
It
done.
just gotta get done.
Pardon? It's next Saturday.
Is it
No,
next Saturday?
fine.
It is next Saturday.
What? No.
May Day,
Yeah,
May
because
Day's
May
on
first.
Saturday.
Okay, I don't know if we can get those books printed. You gotta,
Well, why not?
you gotta put this off for another week or
Are you
so.
waiting for a resolution or something?
No, I'm just saying that down the road, we should have one so we don't have to go through all of this stuff every year.
So maybe
Permanent.
once we get done with this, let's make
Just
that a
permanently
get it done
waive
so it's
May
done
Day.
every year.
Well, I mean, there's still an application, so.
Well, the application is fine, they have to do that anyway, but, you know, they're supposed to be sponsoring the city in order to get this money, which you guys disagree with, but I do not. So anyway, that's a dead thing, but, you know, we don't have to go through all of this stuff, and look at all the trees you just wasted for that.
Those could be chips for the fridge.
There you
That's
go.
right, gosh darn it.
Yeah,
We recycle.
okay. I'm done.
Okay.
You do have a good point, though. We should get this on board and just make this a resolution for the future. That way we don't have to keep doing this.
I mean, I have a feeling that we can't just blanket approve paying for the insurance every single
Okay.
year indefinitely. You know, the council needs to approve that expenditure. You know, so that will need to go before council every year,
Kessel
regardless.
does it.
And
Kelso does it.
I just
They
thought
have
maybe we
their
could do like a
resolution.
line item and just something that we have on our books. This is what we do every year.
Well, I don't know how, you know, then you gotta get into all
I
the
know.
legalities and stuff
Look,
like
all-
that, but the resolution.
I'm
It'd be
no
something to talk to them or.
I'm no expert, but I can tell you that doing it this way works and it's legal. And
So does the
unless you're
resolution.
anti-May Day, I would suggest making a motion.
I've never been anti-Mayday.
I'll
Don't
make a
play that
motion
on
to
me.
approve.
No, that's not gonna, I'm trying to make Mayday easier to have. Oh,
Read your little motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the special event application for May Day.
More than that.
The more detailed emotions on the
I
bottom.
didn't make the bottom. Okay, sorry. I move to approve the mayor signing the 2021 May Day special event conditions of approval and the special event application when they're completed as written, which includes the use of the city equipment, the Lewis County Sheriff's Office to provide law enforcement services, and to waive the $25 special event application fee.
We have a motion by Ms. Lovely to approve the special event application for May Day as spoken. Do we have a second?
I second.
Seconded by Mr. Hall. Further discussion?
You want more?
I'm giving the opportunity. All right, hearing no more discussion, all those in favor of approving the special application for May Day, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Public comment. Do we have any members of the public that signed up? There's nobody online tonight, so there's no one there. No one? Public? No public? No public tonight.
What do you want me to say?
Elected officials.
I'll say it. Very good meeting today.
Great. Elected official comments. Elected officials, any last words?
For May Day, you can get your buttons, get all that jazz, and you should have information about it. Sign up for the parade. They need more parade entries. How many do you guys have now? Parade?
I don't know how many, Justin.
I heard it was like low, so if you want to walk your dog in the parade, make a sign, mass theme it, whatever you want to do, they need parade entries. On another topic, I was just looking at vaccine stuff the other day. If you want a vaccine, there's still tons of them available in both Cowlitz and Lewis County. So they're easy to get. Get it if you're ready. My family's going through a traumatic experience with it. My in-laws, I don't want to see anyone else go through it. Get vaccinated.
Thank you.
So, okay, I do have a question. The grant from the railroad for playground equipment,
This is the $5,000 Burlington Northern grant that we received earlier this year. Yes,
that is exclusively for playground equipment?
correct. Yeah, it's actually in their statement of their condition statement that came with the check. It says playground equipment or playground improvement.
It was
Equipment.
I believe it was equipment, and
Okay.
that it was also specifically for onboarding parks.
But it definitely said playground is
Right.
so.
And so, if you get this grant, you already have some kind of playground equipment, don't you? Included
Well,
in that?
the cost of the playground equipment itself is built into what we're requesting out of the grant, yes.
So what are we gonna do for playground equipment for this one?
I'm sorry. I don't-
What do you,
oh.
well, you've already got playground equipment coming in the other grant, you have that all planned out.
That's not the way it works. So
It's going towards the project is what it is, that $5,000 from BNSF, is that what you mean?
Yeah, this is an excess, so
Yeah.
you have $5,000 more dollars for $5,000 worth of extra playground equipment. So are you gonna put extra playground equipment in? Because if you don't spend it, you lose it, don't you?
Well, part of it is to go towards that as well. So there was built-in cost to it and everything, sorry, yes.
So we can use that money as part of the match because the whole, for instance, we were going to use part REAP money for our match, part STP money for our match for the road portion of the project, the paving of the putting the curbs in and everything there. And so by having this additional 5,000, we can use that in the match and not have to use as much STP funds, for instance. So we can use REAP. We can use the REAP money for part of the REAP money to make up the difference. So basically, we don't have to use as much money because we have the Burlington Northern grant.
Okay, but I
Does
just.
that make sense? That probably doesn't make sense, but.
No.
No, we can use it towards,
So-
and that's part of the thing that we're going to be going back through with the playground equipment company. We're going to re-look at what's still available because it's a year when we started this whole process, and things that they have available to them will have changed, and costs will have changed as well. So worst case scenario, their costs have gone up, and this 5,000 will help go towards that playground equipment. Best case scenario is it allows us to add a little tiny bit more, whether it be a little fancier panel to put on there that has the steering wheel or the sound thing, which we were trying to stay away from having things that made
That'll
hollow
just-
metallic sounds because
They'll have that
everyone's-
gone
everyone's
before the
homes.
day's over.
Yeah,
when it gets-
but,
Basically,
but yeah, it would still be going towards directly that
No, I
equipment
just
somehow.
would like to see you guys already have this whole plan in, and you've
Mhm.
got the grant that's inclusive of everything you've got in there, including the playground equipment. This would just be for extra. I hate to see it go to waste for
Oh, yeah,
a
no,
parking lot.
it definitely won't. And that's one of the things, another reason why we applied for, or had it be applied for, is because we know that they tell us to plan for, have like a bit of a contingency built in there as well. And if we're able to collect more funds in there, in case things like cost of concrete goes up, or other materials, they inflate from the time that you start this whole process to almost a year and a half later by the time you can finally access the grant funds. Because they have a really strict procedure on how you're supposed to do everything and timelines and stuff. So they know that there's going to be some kind of inflation built into that as well. So by us collecting more money and bringing it in, it helps cover that. And if we have more, then we can do more. This is just the minimum that we have to do with what they give us. And if we have more money, then we can apply that to more on that project.
Okay, so if I'm getting this right, you're gonna take money out of the grant, the big grant money you're gonna get, and you can use it someplace else, and then you're gonna incorporate this railroad money into what you already have. So this isn't a game for more playground equipment. It's just cover what you already have, basically.
Well,
Is that what you're saying?
it can be a game.
it depends on how you look at it. I mean, really, in the end, the city's match to get the RCO funds, I think it was about $100,000 or $105,000. So the city's putting in $105,000. RCO doesn't care where that $105,000 comes from. If we spend $90,000 on from REIT, 10,000 from STP, and 5,000 from BNSF to get to 105,000, that's fine. They don't care. So the more grants we can get, we can pile them all up together, and then the city won't need to expend as much to get the full amount for the RCO grant.
Yes, but see what I'm seeing here is grant from the
we can
railroad
use
for
less REIT.
playground equipment.
Yes, well, and
So it can be designated
Yeah.
when we
I
purchase
don't want,
playground
well,
equipment.
the point I'm
The
trying to
playground
make
equipment
is I
is
don't want.
$200,000.
Okay,
So the
this
5,000
is
can be
5,000
part.
more playground.
5,000 part of
There
the
you go.
$200,000. So.
yeah, well, no matter what, it goes towards that period. Because the way that they had it written out in the contract that I had skimmed through, they said that they want documentation. They want to see how the project turned out, and they want to know where that money had ended up helping with the whole overall project as well. So
Are you talking about the railroad or the
yes,
grant?
the RCO, it's
The railroad
short of
is.
giving them my firstborn. So, but yeah, the railroad actually says that they would like to have photos and they would like to have documentation, and if they need to, they can. You agree to any specific documents that they want to request. You're agreeing to them regarding the project and where that money went to. They actually say that we agreed to release where that money went, which totally makes sense and is reasonable as
Well,
well.
yeah, and it does make sense, except what I'm hearing is that now we can take $5,000 out of the RCO fund and use it someplace else, and then say that we're using the railroad money for playground equipment that you already had included in there anyway. That's what I'm hearing.
It's going to go to playground equipment one way or the other. So I don't know if that's your concern. Is that it
It
wasn't
is my concern.
All right. Well, it's stated right in the check from BNSF. It has to go to playground equipment. So we have to, or otherwise we're not honoring the conditions of the grant.
Right, so what I'm asking, do you have plans to take $5,000 out of the RCO fund to use, like on this parking lot you're talking about, and then tell the railroad that, well, we're using your money for playground equipment, and now
We don't have any active plans to do that.
Oh, you just said it a little bit ago.
Well-
like now we can take money out and do this
No,
parking lot.
well, he's saying
It doesn't really matter how you move the money around. There's only one bucket of money, and all this stuff's going to have to get paid for out of it. I mean, just to say that the BNS part of it, the northern part of it is part of the playground. It's just a matter of documentation.
Well,
however you
It's-
want to write it
I mean,
out.
it's a big project with lots of aspects.
let me just reassure you that when we get invoices related to the park, I will not pay the BNS grant except for anything related to playground equipment.
Well, I already know how that's going to happen, so we're done.
That's what you want, right?
No, I want to know that this would be 5,000 beyond
In
that.
addition.
So you wanna
Well,
say-
So this
So,
5,000,
please.
part of the plan was.
So you want to say that if the project was $400,000, because we have the BNSF grant, you want the project to be $405,000? That's what you're saying?
Oh, that's what I thought you were saying.
No.
Yeah.
Above and beyond.
Yeah, I want to, okay, the above and beyond for me is above and beyond what you guys already have planned for playground equipment.
You want to see like an
I
extra
want to
structure or
see
something
another
like that.
five, yeah, I want to
Okay.
see a
Right.
big,
$5,000 in addition
Which
to it.
yeah.
is kind of what Kelly's saying. It's we don't really know how much this
Okay.
stuff is going to cost, and given that things have risen so crazy lately.
So I get all of that.
Okay.
I get all of that.
But she is saying.
Okay,
that,
I think we wore this
I
out.
got it.
Yeah,
Oh.
it'll go towards it. There will be improvements if it allows for it too.
We're gonna have.
I get what you're
Austin
saying.
Park. Thank you.
And I'll do what I can. And I'll tell you about it.
Okay.
Hey, we talked about it. It's worth
Itemized.
it's worth saying that we were able to do it. So if you want to spend an extra 5,000, we
I
we
want to
can
see
do it.
those little children have
I
more
know
stuff.
you do.
Oh man.
I think it's going to be such an improvement though from what we have. We have what 2 junky swings I can't use and like a
Well,
pole.
yeah, and we're gonna have, I
Like
think.
my yard's a better part.
It's gonna have between 3 to 5 slides, and we're gonna have, I think
And
we have at least one of the
fencing
standing swirly merry-go-round things, and we're gonna have the swings, we're gonna
It's going to be
have
life on our
the
town.
customized train, toddler to
Right.
5 age, play set. And that was kind of like trying to tie in with the train history and, and everything too, that's already on our kiosks. And, there's going to be a lot of stuff that nobody else really has on that playground until you hit like maybe Penny Playground. So
Yeah.
That's all right. We'll be able to find a
But
really
we'll
cool
make sure, yeah.
piece of playground equipment, and we'll like put your name on it, like
I want to see that. I'm holding
Donna's
to the
Seesaw, Donna's Seesaw, or Donna's Jungle Gym.
This
or-
is my teeter totter.
yeah, something like that. Okay. Any other elected official comments?
Donna's kid jail.
Kid zone.
Just kidding.
All right. Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned at 7:16 p.m. Good night, everybody.
Good job.
Donna, remember.